All right, Jacksonville Jaguars, they agree to a massive extension with Josh Allen, not the quarterback. No, the pass rusher, Josh Allen, a 5-year, $150 million deal, $88 million of which is guaranteed. That's a big payday for the former Kentucky Wildcat, who came into the league just a year after the other Josh Allen.
Yep.
But we're seeing these paydays for whether it's defensive linemen, edge rushers. That number is growing and growing every single year. And it seems like a fair deal for one of truly the elite pass rushers since he's come into the league.
Yeah. Well, and with the way offensive rules have gone and quarterback play has gone, with all of those numbers going up, yeah, you want to pay your guys that are able to get to the quarterback.
Well, in Jacksonville's just one of those franchises where it doesn't matter how good you are. It's like you won't be noticed.
Right? Yeah. You're always a little under the radar.
Like, I think if you were to tell people that Josh Allen is near the top of the NFL since he entered the league, which is 5 years in the NFL, he is near the top of the NFL since he entered the league in pressures and sacks, I think people would be like, oh, huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 6th in pressures and 10th in sacks over the past 3 seasons.
And he has been lights out for them on a team that you think of just how bad they were in 2 of those 3 seasons. They were not the best product that they could be putting out on the field, but Josh Allen has been absolutely electric for them, lived up to the hype of being a first-round pick for them.
He's already second on their career sacks list.
And that was striking to me.
Yeah.
And you forget, like, okay, we don't have that much of a sample size for the Jags. We're approaching 30 years of the franchise existence, but in 5 seasons, he's already second and only 10 sacks away from being the all-time sack leader in Jags history. And by the way, 17 and a half sacks last year.
Yes.
This is a guy that you sit there and you circle and you go, yeah, you can almost mark it, barring injury, 2024, he will become the all-time sacks leader in Jags history.
Well, and he came out and started like gangbusters. He got 10 and a half sacks in his rookie season, made the Pro Bowl that year. And then 2020, he got hurt, played half the season, only wound up with 2.5, and then 14 and a half sacks combined over the next 2. And then, just exploded with 17 and a half.
And I think one thing that we also look at with Jacksonville is that, because they have not been a beacon of stability in the National Football League, if you are good, you usually leave.
Right.
And that to me is like, this is kind of maybe one, you're giving the guy the bag, but you use the franchise tag on him and we're able to negotiate a long-term extension in an era where a lot of guys, they'll just be like, dude, you put the tag on me. I don't want to play in it. We're seeing a lot of these guys who have been tagged are actually signing long-term extensions with the team that they've been with.
9 guys franchise tagged this year. And so far, 7 of them have agreed to long-term deals.
So who are the 2 that we haven't?
Antoine Winfield Jr. and T. Higgins.
So you got the safety out of Tampa in Winfield Jr. And look, that one seems like it may be a matter of time. Or, this could be the slow play by Tampa and just saying, all right, maybe we'll allow him to play on the tag for a year because we do have a little bit of an unknown with the division getting better, obviously, with Kirk Cousins going down to Atlanta and being the quarterback there.
And I think he got till July 15th to sign him. Yeah, and so then there's still time.
You've got Baker Mayfield where, he had a great season last year.
He did.
And undeniably, what Baker Mayfield did last year, it was impressive. He performed like a top 10 quarterback in the NFL last year.
He did. But you wonder if that was just a flash, and there's going to be a bit of a market correction.
Dave Canales, who was the offensive coordinator, he is now up at Carolina as the head coach. You have turnover there. And do you want to invest in a safety, which is one of those positions where you go, all right, as we're seeing an influx of big contracts for defensive tackles across the NFL and capping defenses with 2 high safeties as opposed to just having one guy back there, having 2 safeties, do you need to pay premium for a safety? That one makes a little bit of sense.
Well, then why even slap the franchise tag on him then?
Because
you're paying them an average of the top 5.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then even at that, if you're hoping the end game is to do a long-term extension, you're going to be linking him up with big money.
Because what you're doing right now is you're saying, we don't have better options.
Mhm.
We have a team that we feel can be competitive this year, and still considered a value on 1 year. If you have the cap space to do it, I mean, you're
You just don't want to let a good piece walk.
That's right.
Okay.
And then negotiate in good faith, and usually things work out. The other guy who hasn't signed was T. Higgins, which he's on the trade block, where who knows where T. Higgins lands. But we've already seen not happy with the franchise tag, looking for trade possibilities and a way out. We may see that market start to really ramp up leading up to the draft and in the wake of the draft, after teams sift through their receiver rooms and say, all right, we need one more, right? We need to maybe the value of that pick goes down a little bit as the draft approaches and gets closer and closer, with this being, an 11 deep wide receiver draft where, you're seeing a lot of the conversation about the receivers in the NFL just over the last couple of days. A guy like Xavier Leggett from South Carolina, he has just been vaulting up draft boards. Troy Franklin, they're saying now early day 2 would be where Troy Franklin goes. So a lot of these guys that, were, they're the deep receiver class, you're seeing their stock go up a little bit higher and a little bit higher.
Yeah.
You may have a little bit market depression on what T. Higgins could bring you, because he's always been a number 2, and he will be a number 2 on a very good team.
One note on the Jaguars' instability.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, just the third of the Jaguars' 14 first-round picks from 2008 to 2020 to sign an extension with the team, joining defensive tackle Tyson Alualu, 2010, and Blake Bortles, 2014.
Wait, what was that? 2008?
From 08 to 2020, 14 first-round draft picks. Allen is just the third to sign an extension. The rest either traded, cut, or suspended.
And one of them being Blake Bortles.
And 12 of those 14 were drafted in the top 10. With 6 in the top 5.
To quote the great Gardner Minshew, God dang.
That is brutal, dude.
That's brutal, dude. Are any of those guys
working construction, ripping cigs?
Probably somebody. No, Blake Bortles might be.
Yeah. Actually, Blake Bortles, I saw a clip of he's building a house, and he is like, actually, he was helping, like, this was like last spring, summer. He was actually helping with the construction of his home.
Of course.
So he was out there, hammering nails. Yeah.
I got nothing to do.
Just working construction. Hopefully he was ripping some cigs. Like a Florida man will. You tell me you wouldn't hang with Blake Bortles?
Oh, I probably would.
Yeah, you would.
I don't know. I wouldn't build a house with him. Drinking Bud Light Limes in the sun. That's what I feel like he'd be doing.
Bortles strikes me as a Mick Ultra. He's Michelob Ultra, I think.
Yeah, gotta watch those carbs.
Yeah, and that's what he's gonna tell you. He's like, dude, I'm a quarterback with a big trunk on me.
Yeah.
I can't be out here, heavy. I can't drink Bud Heavy.
He's a former quarterback. He can go all Val Kilmer and push away from he'd been pushing away from the table for all his life. Everybody laughed at Val Kilmer after he got chubby. It's like, dude, food tastes good. You get it.
I'll tell you what.
Food does taste good.
Yeah.
There is nothing more jarring than when you see a quarterback a few years later and you're like, whoa.
Big belly.
They're usually the guys that have it together. Like, to be the you got to have it together.
Yeah.
And when you see that quarterback, you go, oh.
Yeah, you really missed that training table, huh?
Hey, buddy. You've been living that good life. I like it. All right. Well, hey, Jagging with Jeff. We got a lot of good Jags nuggets in there.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
Absolutely. And they're on their way up. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence can stay healthy this year.
Yeah. I mean, you better hope for it.
That was their downfall, the end of last year.
We need to get you with a Jags futures bet.
See, I'm just not a gambler.
Well, it's not gambling. It's winning with your team, Jeff. That's the way you got to frame it. Mentally, you've got to rewire yourself. You're riding with your team. It may be the under on the win total, but you're riding with them. All right?
All right. We'll see what we can do.
Don't be judged.